Did a fireside chat with him, that was brilliant, and spent a couple of hours with him before going on stage, and such a gentleman. Spoke to him about AFTV. I said to him, you know, I go, listen, I go, we was one of the platforms where towards the end of your reign, you know, some of the fans were coming on giving you a bit of stick. He said, Robbie, I understand. He goes, we weren't doing well at that time. You know what I mean? We'd gone from sweeping aside teams every year, you know, in a title race to, you know, things being really tough. But it was really, really fascinating talking to him, like him explaining to me how he had limited funds throughout the years. He was saying to me that, you know, the banks actually said to Arsenal, you can't spend more than 50% of your income on players and wages. And that was at a time where you had teams that were spending 100%, many of them, or 90% of this. So he said to me, he goes, for the top players, they just couldn't compete. He said players would come to him and say, I want to play for Arsenal. I want to come, but Chelsea, City, Man United, these clubs are offering me like 2-3 times the amount of wages that you guys are offering. What can you do? And he couldn't do anything. I asked him, I go, would you have liked to have had that money? Because one of the other things he said to me was that when the Kroenkes were there, obviously because of their dispute with Usmanov, nobody wanted to move. You know, the valuation of the club just stayed the same. Nobody wanted, because, you know, they wanted the club. Usmanov wanted the club. Obviously, when Usmanov left, first thing they did was clear off the debt with the banks. So all of a sudden, all those restraints that he had in his time, those have all been removed. That's why you see Arsenal now are able to go and spend money on players. So he was saying, he was sort of remarking to me the fact that he bought Vieira for, was it 4.5 million or something like that?
Yeah, but back in the day, yeah.
Right, and then he goes, Arteta's able to buy Declan Rice for 100 million.
Yeah.
You know? So he goes, I didn't do too bad with the Vieira, because he was, you know, he's saying to me some of the players that he bought for, the money he bought them for and what they turned into, you know?
True.
And also, I think he's very proud of the fact that he really pushed hard for Arsenal's academy. That was one thing that he insisted on, he pushed on, he enabled Arsenal to build that academy. And then now he's saying that, look at some of the players that are coming out of there, like Saka.
Miles.
And he's going, how much is Saka worth now? You know, Mars, Lewis, Skelly, all these players have come through the academy. So, and he kept saying, every time he spoke about Arsenal, he said, we. And he's totally convinced, right? I don't know, maybe I should try and get in contact with him after the weekend, but he's totally convinced that Arsenal will win the league this year. He's like, we'll win it. He goes, we have the quality in the squad. And again, he was sort of saying to me that had it not been for that squad, where would this team be this season with the amount of injuries that they had? He's like, he just can't understand how we've had so many injuries, but he's convinced that we'll win it. But
at least
are you lot after the weekend? Because that was a horror show.
In Arsenal we trust, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm not so sure.